Hey everyone, so I thought I'd put together this quick little video about kind of a makeup after you've been at the beach all day or at the pool and you're gonna go out at night. It's just something simple. This is something that I like to do when I have a little more redness in my skin and it's a little um, hot and bothered, I guess. So I'm going to start with this Becca, the backlit primer. I've been loving this, especially when you want to get a little bit more of an added glow. I think it's beautiful. If you do have oily skin, it will make you, I think, a little more oily. So I don't use this every day, but for this look, you definitely want to go all glow. So this is the start of that. And it doesn't look too glowy and it's not glittery, which is important. So once you put that all over, we're going to now smooth out any redness. And I like this Bobbi Brown. I think it's a BB cream. What's good about it is that it's still sheer, so you're not going to put too much on, but you will even out all that redness. I'm definitely someone who will tan a little bit later, but I first initially am red. Which is actually pretty good when you're gonna go out after because you don't really need to put on too much makeup. So we're just gonna kind of smooth out the skin, and I like to use my fingers for this, especially with a tinted moisturizer, just because you don't really need brushes for this, and we want to make this quick and easy. You know, we've been at the beach all day, you're very tired. I am, at least. For this, we actually went the day before, and where I'm living, the beach was very, well, the surf, I guess, was very intense. The current was strong, the waves were big. We barely moved past the shore. It was such high tide, but we loved it. It was so much fun. I love the beach anyway. But we're just going to keep on blending this in, and once we're done with that, you could just double check to make sure you kind of covered up all the redness. I like to keep the cheeks not as covered, just because you want some of that redness to show through, so you don't have to add too much blush and things like that. You also want to make sure you let your freckles go through too. If you get freckly after the beach, which I do, you don't want to put on too much, let those freckles shine. So once we get all that in, we'll move on to concealer. We do want to make sure, obviously, you match your neck. You might be a little bit darker since you've been out in the sun. I'm usually pretty much the same color, but I'm just going to bring it down just a little bit just in case. I actually pumped way too much of this tinted moisturizer on my hands. You don't really need that much. Just like literally a dot will do perfectly fine. I am wearing a top, by the way. I don't know why I decided to wear a strapless one, but I did. And I think that it was just cute, and I thought I'd wear it, but you can't even see it. So no, I am not naked. We're going to move on to concealer. I like the NARS Creamy Concealer. This is the little sample size, which is really great to get. Just so you can try out a bunch of different colors, see how your skin reacts, things like that. I think this one is Custard. We're just going to put just a little bit underneath the eye. I had moisturized before this, so I'm very well moisturized. A little bit too much, I think. I'm still trying out a new moisturizer, but you want to put just enough just to brighten up underneath. We're not really highlighting with concealer. We're just trying to cover up any darkness that you might have. Make sure you also use patting motion, especially under the eyes. Again, you do want to be careful. The skin underneath the eyes is very delicate, and I'm sure the rest of your face is too, especially if you've been out in the sun. So just kind of keep patting and blending. I also think it's good to use your fingers after you've been in the sun. I just find that they're a bit more gentle, I think, than using a brush. So just kind of check to make sure everything is blended. Sometimes BB creams can be a little difficult to blend in, so just kind of double check and make sure everything looks good. So once you've done that, we're going to move on to highlighting. I think this is the perfect highlighter for especially like that glowing from within look. This is from Becca, and I'm using Moonstone, which I think is her second to lightest shade. I am using this on the high points of my cheeks, on my nose, my cupid's bow, and in my forehead. I really wanted this look to be glowy, especially after you spend the time out in the sun, you're naturally glowy. So we're just going to build upon that. And so I'm just going to put it all on those high points of the face, everywhere that you want to catch light and to bring forward. I like using liquid or creams for this, mostly because it will look the most natural. You can, if you want, add a little bit of powder, highlighter on top, but I think with this look, liquid is kind of the best. We can also put a little bit of the excess on our inner tear duct just to keep that kind of glowy look cohesive. Now to set everything, I want to use this Love the Setting Powder. It's by NARS. It's just a light reflecting powder. It looks really natural on the skin, and especially since you've been out in the sun, you're going to be a little bit more oily, in my opinion. Especially, you know, you've been wearing sunscreen all day, your skin is reacting to all that heat. So you definitely want to set everything that you did. Even though you want to keep it looking glowy, you do want to add powder just to keep everything in check. I just like this powder for that, just because it's really lightweight in the sense that it won't make you look powdery, but it will kind of hold everything together. So you're just going to dust that everywhere. I do dust it over my highlighter just so that it won't budge either. Again, you can use some powder highlighter after if you like, but for me, I just kind of like to keep it simple with just the liquid highlighter. And this is a pretty simple look. I wanted to keep it, pretty minimal, mostly because you're going to be tired after the beach, so let's just keep it nice and simple. Once we got that covered, we're going to go on to our brows. Just kind of fill them in lightly, nothing too much, just kind of brushed and groomed. I do like to add a little bit extra on the ends, a little tail, I guess, if you will. Mine are very, very short. I've been traumatized before. Went to the fair once, and we did a caricature, and he drew my brows short, and it was so embarrassing. So I just kind of like to draw out a little bit longer, and I find it just kind of opens up the eyes just a little bit. So if you have short eyebrows, you can do this too. If you have perfect eyebrows, you can skip this step. You can also use a brow gel if you want, just to keep everything in place. I'm just going to kind of let them be. We're going to move on to blush. You don't have to, but I did want to mimic my natural flush. I love this blush by Becca. I think it's called Flower Child. It's just absolutely beautiful. I think it's a peachy pink, and a very little bit goes a long way. And especially if whatever color you're going to use a little bit, because your natural sunburn, I guess, is going to show through eventually. So we just want to mimic it just a little bit so that we don't look too pale. So we're just going to brush a little bit of that blush on our cheeks and then sweep it up to our temples. We're also going to use a little bit of bronzer. I love this bronzer. I actually had this from, I think, a sample kit from years ago, and I never used it, and then I don't know why, because it's the perfect color for me. It doesn't look too brown, and it doesn't look too muddy on me. So we're just going to use a big fluffy brush and just brush it on the outsides of our face. We don't want it to be too intense, just a little bit. If you get too much on the brush, just tap it on the back of your hands, and we're going to just use it again in a little 3 shape, or E, depending which way you're looking. And you just want to make sure that it looks sun-kissed, nothing too contoured or crazy. We just want to look like we are glowing. We're also going to take a little bit of what's left on our brush and dust it on our eyelids. We want to kind of concentrate it in the creases, and this is just going to create more depth, just a very little bit. We don't want to go too crazy. Again, this is a very simple look. So we're just going to add a couple coats of mascara. We don't want it to be too intense. We just want to make it nice and voluminous. If you don't have voluminous lashes, you could do a strip lash if you like. It's a quick and easy way to get simple full lashes if mascara doesn't do it for you. I love this better than Sex One though. I just think that the formula is so creamy and it just grabs onto every single little lash that I have and just really thickens them up. So this is what works for me. I actually initially hated it, but I found that when you kind of brush it through, not so much twirl it through, it works really well. So kind of brush it up, and that way it kind of just distributes more evenly, in my opinion. So once you have a couple coats on your top lashes, we're going to add one big coat to our bottom. I'm not going to show it just because I have to get super close for it, so we're going to skip it. But you do want to just coat the bottom lashes as well, just to get that really big doe-eyed look. It really does help. So there we go, all done. We're going to now move on to our lips. And now a quick easy way is just to use a tinted lip balm. Not only will it moisturize your lips, especially after the sun and the salt, you're going to be very dry. It's going to add a pop of color. And I love this one from Bites. It's the Lip Agave, I think. And it's just I think it's the red one. I just love the color red. For me, it just enhances my natural lip color. You can use a more peachy tone if you'd like, or pink. I just think this red just kind of makes my lips pop even more. To complete the look, you just want to brush any stray hairs that you might have, as well as reapply some powder on your T-zone. Again, if you do get a little bit more oily, you want to do this just a couple of times just to really ensure that all the excess oil gets soaked up. I know for me, I get very oily once I'm out in the sun. And you can clean up any mistakes with a Q-tip. I always get my mascara on my lids, so Q-tips are a lifesaver. We're just going to set it. So I think this is the most important step of this look. This is going to make sure that everything stays. And with a super glowy look, you really want a good setting spray so that it doesn't go from glowy to oily and looking sweaty. So this setting spray will definitely do that. I love Urban Decay. You can use anything. Even the drugstore has a good one too, by NYX. So once we did that, we're going to move on to our hair. Now my hair is naturally curly. Once we came home from the beach, I just washed it and I let it air dry. I put it in a bun and that was it. I didn't put any products or any heat. I'm just going to pick up this side. You can also do it on the other side if you want. If you have bangs, I think it looks super cute. Other side works. I just kind of liked this side. So once you do that, you can also, if you don't have naturally curly hair, you could put it in a bun and add a couple of waves once it's dry with a curling iron. But if your hair is curly, I find that's the best way. Just put it in a bun, let it air dry. And when you take it out, you'll have nice waves. So I'm just going to add a little bit of hairspray. This one is by, I think it's called Moroccan Oil, just to smooth away any frizziness. I do get a little bit frizzy, especially just during the summer. But once you just spray it down a little bit, part it the way that you like, you are all done. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick and easy look to go from the beach to out to dinner. It's quick and easy, and you only use a few products, and it looks effortless. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.